Yo, what's up, guys? Joel Hoffman here, and I got another sober training lesson coming for you guys today. And the lesson today is about exercise. Without exercise, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Without exercise, I wouldn't have the hobbies, the mental capacity, the mental toughness to be overcome the addictions that I spent over 20 years in. So that's why I talk about exercise so much. It's the thing that helped me overcome depression, anxiety. It's the number one thing that I can tell anybody to do. If you want to start changing, the first thing I could tell you to do is exercise. Because at the end of the day, whenever I started, I wasn't 100% sure if I could overcome my addiction and say no to my temptations. I wasn't sure if I can control my emotions or not be depressed. I wasn't sure about anything, but I knew that I had the physical capacity to put one foot in front of the other and go run or jog. I knew that I had the physical capacity to do push-ups or go to the gym and work out. I knew that I could do that. So I also knew that a big part about changing was changing those patterns, breaking those patterns and developing new ones. I had to stop doing the things that the old me wanted to do, and I had to incorporate new habits that the new me would do. So I knew the old me was lazy. I knew the old me didn't want to work out. So this was the first thing that I could put on my plate to start getting the mental benefits and the confidence and everything I needed in order to change. So the first thing that I want to talk about with exercise is the mental benefits of exercise. So the first thing is you're getting this regrowth of your brain cells. Obviously, you know, we hear it all the time. Whenever you're on drugs or alcohol, you diminish a lot of brain cells. So you want to regrow brain cells. That's going to help. And you also get a release of neurotransmitters. Now, these neurotransmitters are a lot of the same chemicals that are produced in the brain whenever you're using alcohol or drugs. So there's going to be this feel-good experience that you get. As I tell a lot of people, like, if you want to get high, go run. And then whenever you feel that, get a good workout in. And when you feel that high, you get your own natural high. So that's the natural high that I like to get. And these are the chemicals that I get that, for my particular instance, so I'm diagnosed bipolar, so I have a lack of a lot of these chemicals. And if you're diagnosed with depression or anxiety, you're going to lack a lot of these chemicals too. So if you're getting treated for depression, one of the things, the antidepressants, one of the first things they're going to do is it's going to boost your serotonin levels. So that's the first thing that we'll talk about. And I'm just going to read this blog I read, and I'll post it in the comments. That way you guys can check it out if you want to. But I'm just going to read off this blog of the 5 different chemicals and what they do. So when you're the first chemical is serotonin. So working up a sweat tells your body to increase production of a mood-boosting brain chemical called serotonin. People who are depressed often have low levels of serotonin. This, at least partially, explains why exercise lowers the risk of depression. The problem is when your serotonin level is low, you don't feel like getting off the couch to exercise. Still, if you can force yourself to do it and you can lift your energy level and your spirits, then you'll have the benefits of that. So that's a big thing, guys. And I'm gonna stop off the blog for a second, but that's a big thing, because if you can get the motivation, if you can get the inspiration, if you can find the energy to get off the couch, then I'll often tell you that energy is kinetic. So once you get going, it's easier to keep going. So a lot of times the hardest thing to do is be consistent and get up off that couch, so especially if your serotonin levels are low. So whatever it is, whatever videos that you need to watch, whatever kind of, whatever your why is, whatever your purpose is, whether you're trying to get your kids back, if you're trying to stop this addiction, you should know that, okay, if I go put in this workout, then this is going to help me break this addiction. That's a hell of a why to get off the couch. So back into it, the blog. Millions of people take antidepressant medications to raise their serotonin level, but exercise is a natural serotonin booster. Interestingly, some studies show exercise is as effective as a prescription. You hear that? Exercise is as effective as a prescription. Okay? Antidepressants for easing depression. Aerobic exercise beats out the resistance exercise for boosting serotonin. Let me read back. Aerobic exercise beats out resistance exercise for boosting serotonin. So when you're feeling down, get your blood pumping with a brisk bout of exercise. These guys must have been from England or something. This is not my writing, so it's a little bit fudgy. But the next brain boosting chemicals are norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is huge. So like whenever I study one of the mental disorders, quote unquote, that I have, bipolar, this is a chemical that it says that I lack. So if you've been through some traumatic events in your childhood, if you were given Ritalin at a young age, or if you were addicted to meth, then there's a good chance that your norepinephrine levels are low, and your brain doesn't respond well to that chemical. And that's just what happens over time with being under stressful situations, or using Ritalin or methamphetamine. So I'm going to read what the blog says about it. It says, when you exercise, especially a high-intensity workout, your adrenal glands, two small glands above your kidneys, as well as your brain, ramp up production of norepinephrine, a substance that's both a hormone and a brain chemical. When more norepinephrine flows into your bloodstream during exercise, you become more alert and focused. Norepinephrine also boosts mental memory retrieval, so you become better at retrieving information stored in your brain. Indeed, research supports that the idea that exercise improves focus, attention, and the ability to concentrate. Immediately after your workout, your brain is better at accomplishing tasks and resisting distractions. So, how much more productive would you be at work if you did short bouts of exercise every hour or so? If you're easily distracted, exercise could be a ticket to getting more done. A study carried out at the University of Illinois found that exercise increases cognitive control in kids with ADHD. After only 20 minutes of exercise, the children were better able to focus and score higher on tests. Now, if you watched any of my sober training videos, you'll know that one of my keys to overcoming temptation is whenever you say no and you have the reasons of why it's your enemy, and you combat that with the reasons, then you need to refocus. You need to refocus on something else. So a lot of times whenever you're trying to refocus, that negative voice is steadily whispering or screaming at you about the addiction that it wants you to use. So a part of being focused is this norepinephrine, exercising. It's going to help you be focused and help you overcome in those moments of temptation. Every single thing that I recommend to do, it's all mental push-ups to strengthen yourself for those gut check moments of mental temptation, and whenever that old part of you starts lying to you to try to convince you to go back to your addiction. It's all strengthening and healing the mind. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is BDNF. That's a brain boosting chemical. Now, I actually learned something new whenever I was researching this, because I had no idea about this stuff. So to read from the blog, it says that BDNF stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and it may be the most important chemical released during exercise since it fosters long-term brain health. BDNF acts as a growth factor and promotes the formation of new connections between nerve cells or neurons. It also helps repair nerve cells that are damaged. BDNF is the most active in the regions of the brain involved in memory, particularly in the area called the hippocampus. The good news is that the exercise increases brain production of BDNF by up to 3 times. You may not get an immediate boost in brain function from BDNF, but it helps protect your brain against injury as it preserves cognitive function. So guys, as I often talk about neuroplasticity, what fires together wires together. So whenever you're saying no to your addiction and you decide to go work out, then you're building that new synapse, just like it's talking about right here. So whenever we're building these new habits and we're becoming this new person, then that's whenever this neuroplasticity takes place, and you build these new hardwiring, these new neurons, right? So this is exactly what it's talking about. So exercise is also helping you guys increase the chemicals that are going to help those neurons build, that are going to help your brain repair itself. Okay, guys, I don't just pull all this shit out the hat. I don't just tell you to go exercise to be some drill sergeant asshole. There's a fucking reason for it, guys. So understand that. So whenever I tell you to get up off your ass and go do something, it's for a reason. Let's get some of that BDNF going and get that future brain function going, and let's heal that mind that's been breaking and being destroyed from poison for so long. So the next thing is brain boosting chemicals, dopamine, right? Dopamine, you hear me talk about this all the time. This is probably one of the things that I know more about. But just to read from the blog here, it says that dopamine is the quote unquote motivation and the quote unquote reward brain chemical. The motivation and the reward brain chemical. On a given day, if you feel motivated and ready to tackle the day's list of projects after a workout, you can thank dopamine. It's dopamine that gives us the motivation to achieve something of value or that makes us feel rewarded. Without enough dopamine, you probably won't feel like putting forth an effort to do things you need to do and that make you feel good. People who are depressed typically have low levels of dopamine. The fact that exercise boosts the release of dopamine and serotonin partially explains why exercise is a natural mood lifter and antidepressant. So guys, what happens is whenever you stop using drugs, whenever you stop drinking, because your dopamine levels have been artificially induced at a high level, then your brain stops producing as much. So whenever you stop, instead of being around 90 nanograms of dopamine, it drops down to about 80. And that's when things get really tough, okay? So one of the biggest things I can tell you is that while exercise is going to get those dopamine levels back up, yes, you're going to feel bad and you're not going to want to feel like doing it. But whenever you consistently exercise, instead of them dopamine levels being consistently low, they're going to get better and better. It might not immediately happen the first day, but give me 30 days, give me 90 days, and I guarantee you will see the results and your brain will be humming on a whole nother level. So the last thing that we're going to talk about here is endorphins. And just to read from the blog, it says that endorphins are the ultimate quote unquote feel good chemicals. You've heard people talk about the runner's high, the feeling of bliss and oneness with the world that comes after running a while. Endorphins are the likely reason why, although some researchers believe other brain chemicals like serotonin and dopamine play a role too, plus endorphins help relieve pain relief, right? So I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, my back hurts, my knees hurts, whatever. And I tell them, if you go work out, you will feel better. And here is the proof in the pudding. Back to the blog. So once you start pumping out endorphins, exercise no longer feels as hard. Finally, endorphins help to calm fear and anxiety, thereby making you feel more tranquil and at peace with yourself. No wonder studies show exercise help to boost self-esteem and a sense of well-being. So guys, exercise, the number one thing that I'm going to tell you to do every day to break your addiction. This is mental push-up, guys. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you if you jump into my program that tomorrow you're going to be free from your addictions and you're never going to do drugs or drink again. That's not the way it works. Everybody works at their own pace. I hope to spark a fire inside of you and help change that subconscious filter of the way that you're perceiving your reality in order for that to happen, but you're ultimately in control of that. So everything that I say to do that I'm recommending to you guys, like the exercise, everything I'm going to go into, the meditation, these things, I'm going to break everything down into detail. Everything that I'm telling you guys to do is to repair your mind, to strengthen your mind, to give you all the tools that you need to be able to succeed in being sober and overcoming this negative temptation and overcoming this enemy that you're fighting against, guys. So the next thing that we got is your physical health, guys. Your physical health. There's a lot of people that might be in bad health. Like, you might be close to having a heart attack, or the doctor's telling you have diabetes, or who knows what you're fighting against. But bad physical health goes hand in hand with addiction, with drug and alcohol abuse. We all know that. So you will increase your physical health. It is an amazing feeling whenever your body is capable of doing physical work and you're able to outperform the people around you because you're in shape. I can go work right now and I can outwork a lot of men that are younger than me because I'm in great physical shape. I'm in better shape right now at 35, not being addicted, than I was at 25, drinking and doing drugs all the time. So physical health is huge, guys. And then you get confidence. You get your confidence back. You get your self-esteem back. Whenever people telling you, man, you're looking good, you're bulking up, or you're losing weight, whatever it is, it feels good. You get your confidence back, and then you look in the mirror, and it's no longer this mask of who you used to try to filter those. You try to put on the filter of all the negative things that you've seen in the mirror. Now you can take off that filter and be confident with exactly what you see in the mirror. Like, oh man, I got some abs. I haven't had abs since I was 16. Or maybe you never had abs, or you're wearing a smaller size than you've wore since you were in high school, whatever. Maybe the smallest size that you ever wore. Like, I want you guys to get in the best shape that you've ever been in your life, because it's very much worth it, and it's a very key component into gaining the strength, the mental capacity to break the old you, to be the new person that you want to be. So, and that's what I'm going to talk about next, is building the mental capacity for doing what's hard and being uncomfortable and doing what's uncomfortable. Because whenever you're breaking this addiction, you're going through this change thing, it's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable the whole damn time. Like, I can explain it and reference it to exactly as running or jogging. Whenever you're running or jogging, you start to get tired, especially if you're not in shape and you're first starting. It's going to hurt, and there's going to be a lot of times that you're going to tell yourself that you're tired and you want to quit. But if you just keep going, if you endure that pain, then you can make it to your mark, and you can get past. Oftentimes you do catch a second win, and you can get past that initial pain. But running and that whole time while you're tired of that voice constantly in your head, do you want to quit now? Do you want to quit now? Do you want to quit now? No, I don't want to quit now. So that's a lot of that's similar to the way that addiction works. Whenever it's like, do you want to use now? Do you want to use now? Do you want to drink now? Do you want to, it's the same thing in your ear. So building up that mental capacity to say, no, that I do not want to quit. I want to keep going. No, I do not want to give into those drugs. I want to remain sober. That's not what I want to do. That's the same muscle, guys. That's the same muscle that you're flexing and that you're using. So that's why running and exercising is going to get that muscle stronger, and it's going to help you overcome in those times of temptation. So, like I said, breaking addiction is uncomfortable. If you can find a way to work out whenever you don't want to, then you could find a way to say no to that temptation whenever you really don't want to, guys. And it's about being consistent, guys. If you can be consistent and go run for 90 days and work out for 90 days and do something for 90 days, stretch, yoga, whatever, you do something physically for your physical health for 90 days straight, that's what's really hard, you will become a whole new person. And you will ingrain a whole new set of patterns and habits in you. And you will raise your level of standard. And when you raise your standards, when you raise your expectations for yourself, when you raise what you allow for yourself, that's whenever you truly change, because you won't allow yourself to go back to that person that you was before, because that's no longer your standard. That's no longer acceptable, guys. So if you want to start changing, if you want to go along with my program, then this is something that you have to. This is a have to. It's no longer about want to. It's no longer I want to get in shape and I want to change. It's you have to. That means for now on, you have to work out. You have to run. You have to get these chemicals in your brain. You have to get all these good neurotransmitters in your brain in order to heal it. We have to get your brain healed. We have to get your mind right, guys. So when you get off this thing, I want you to do it right now. I want you to go exercise right now. I don't want you to procrastinate, and I want you to start a pattern, and I want you to start exercising at least 6 days a week. At least 6 days a week. If you can, 7. Have a light day on the 7 because you need rest. But I need you to make this a priority in your life, because it's a priority in my sober training program. It's a priority to be able to heal your mind and gain the confidence and self-esteem that you can see the change right in the mirror. It is a priority, guys. I need you to go exercise right now. If you want to be in this program, you got to do it. So listen to this however many times you want to. Recycle through my video. If you want to, if you like my stuff, then make sure that you subscribe subscribe to my channel. Go to Facebook and like my Facebook page. I have Instagram, The Real Motivation, Underground Motivation on Instagram, The Real Underground Motivation. You can catch me on Twitter. I have all the socials, guys. I'm putting all the content I can out for free. And because it's for free, if it benefits you in any ways, if you like it, then you can share it with other people, and you can subscribe to my stuff and like it. And that's how you can pay me back. I love you guys. I do this for a reason. You can message me anytime that you like if you need help. And remember, guys, you have to get this exercise in. Exercise equals mental toughness. It's time for you to be mentally tough and change your life.